Hello, I am your teacher, Mr. Pacitti, and this is my classroom here in Jacksonville, Florida. So put away your mobile phones, put away your All Elite Wrestling t-shirts because you won't be let in, except you will because that was all bollocks. It's time to concentrate, it's time to study. This is SmackDown Live, and this is Graded. We kick things off backstage, but this isn't another brawl. No, it's Daniel Bryan, and he's at the concession stand, and he isn't a happy bunny. Bryan cuts a promo about the disgusting food on sale at that concession stand. Hot dogs, popcorn, soda, all that good stuff, saying that the only reason you fickle morons eat this crap is because you're looking to fill a void in your lives. And that's the reason that you cheer AJ Styles. He grabs a cup of soda and throws it all over some AJ Styles shirt-wearing jabroni, and then he heads to the merch stand and he asks, hey, where's the Yes Movement shirts? Oh, they don't exist anymore because the Yes Movement is dead. They're still available on WWE Shop, by the way. But they do sell AJ Styles gloves. Ugh. Bryan then heads through the crowd and says that he's trying to make the world a better place and that we are all impotent. I can take the popcorn and the hot dog stuff, but getting a bit personal. It was a one-time thing, and I'm nervous, and Daniel Bryan is going to fill the void in our lives with something that we can be proud of, and that thing is the new Daniel Bryan. And then out of nowhere, Daniel Bryan is attacked by R-Truth. Ring the bell, Daniel Bryan versus R-Truth is our first match. Love this opening promo, which gets an A. Daniel Bryan was fantastic, fusing obviously scripted elements with moments of improvised brilliance. Visually, it was far more interesting to look at than if Daniel Bryan had stood in the ring and just said the same words, so prop to creative for that. And the R-Truth attack was pretty much out of nowhere. It was really unexpected, and it set up the match organically. This was a perfect start to the show. The match itself was fun too. R-Truth, I really do think, is incredibly underrated. For a guy of his age, it's amazing how well he can still go, and especially over the last year or so, I think he's been really, really entertaining. A quick match which served its purpose, and I'm going to give it a B. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to give it a B+, because after the match, AJ Styles attacks Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan just pegs it. He runs away, gets out of there as quick as he can. It worked for both of their characters, and more importantly, it put all of the focus back on AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan's feud and their upcoming match at the Royal Rumble for the WWE title. Up next, and I should point out that we're less than 15 minutes into this episode of SmackDown at this point. That's right, all of that Daniel Bryan, R-Truth, AJ Styles stuff was that concise. It's time for a tag match. Rey Mysterio and Mustafa Ali versus Samoa Joe and Andrade Cien Almas. Joe lays into Mustafa to start the match, and then we get a great little exchange from Rey Mysterio and Andrade Cien Almas. These two have unbelievable chemistry. Really just want to see more of those two in the ring together. A feud between those two at this point seems like such an obvious choice. Joe hits a massive fall-away slam on the announce table, and then Rey Mysterio hits this flippy Canadian destroyer. It was really, really great. It was such a good spot, and something that we don't see on WWE TV very often. The match ends after Rey hits the 619 on Joe, and then Mustafa hits the 054, but then Almas runs in. He's set up for the 619, but catches Rey, hits him with a hammerlock DDT, and picks up the win. So what's not to like here? A beautifully competitive match featuring 4 of SmackDown's top talents, and then Almas gets the win for his team by beating Rey Mysterio, pinning him clean. Andrade Cien Almas, of course, the future of SmackDown, the future of the WWE. This one is well deserving of an A. TV matches do not get much better than this, but wait for the main event because maybe they do. Backstage now for a quick Miz and Shane promo. I feel like I've kind of glossed over the Miz and Shane stuff in recent weeks, and I didn't really enjoy it at first, but it's really growing on me. The pair at the beginning didn't have terrific chemistry together, but they're getting better and better on screen. Some really funny lines from the Miz, especially here, and there's part of me now that almost wants Miz versus Shane at WrestleMania. I'd rather see Miz versus Bryan at WrestleMania for the WWE title, but WrestleMania isn't WrestleMania without a Shane match, and that should absolutely be the priority. Back to the ring, and Rusev is looking all sad. He's upset because his wife, who I will remind you is a professional wrestler, had to take a back bump last week, courtesy of a match kick and Shinsuke Nakamura. You all saw it. It's not a happy day for Rusev. It looks like he's about to cry, the poor bastard. He says he's not standing before us as a United States champion, but he's standing before us as a husband. Come on, Rusev. She was in a Money in the Bank ladder match. She wrestles all the time. She's a wrestler. She's not a very good wrestler, but she's a wrestler. Come on. Rusev calls out Nakamura, but Nakamura does not come out. Instead, he appears on the Titantron. He's backstage. He's in the production truck, and he says, "Hey, it wasn't my fault. Roll the footage." Kevin Dunn's apprentice, and the footage is rolled. And it's just a recap of last week's SmackDown with the match kick, and he says basically, "It was your fault, Rusev. It was your fault that this happened." And then Rusev gets all pissed off. He says, "I'm going to come and find you." He didn't say that, but he ran backstage to try and find Shinsuke Nakamura. But in the words of that pink alien thing off of Star Wars, I don't know his name, it's a trap. And he is attacked by Shinsuke Nakamura, hits him with one of those big case things, and then takes him out with a Kinshasa. Mixed feelings here because the Lana element of this story is pretty dumb, but there's an important word there, and that word is story. And stories are the most important thing in wrestling. And we're finally being given one centered around the US title. It's something that Shinsuke Nakamura, when he was champion, was never really afforded. So I think I like this. So despite the Lana stuff, which I'm not quite sold on, I'm going to be generous and give this one a B. I thought the backstage attack was cool and quite unexpected. Shinsuke Nakamura looks like a heartless bastard, and most importantly, this might make people actually care about the US title again. Next up, the Bar take on the Usos. If the Usos win, they get a future shot at the SmackDown Live tag titles. I've seen a lot of people complain about this online, saying that the SmackDown tag scene is essentially just the Bar, the Usos, the New Day, and I'm not really going to argue with that, but you can't say that these three teams don't always deliver, because every single time they do, and last night's SmackDown was no exception. I like the whole beat the champion or beat the champions and get a future championship opportunities thing, especially here because it made it seem like the Usos were definitely going to win, but they didn't. The Bar picking up the win via a slightly dodgy finish. So apparently this pissed a few people off online, but I didn't mind it. Towards the end of the match, Mandy Rose's music hits. She comes out, she stands at the top of the ramp, grabs a mic, she's wearing nothing but a white towel, Egyptian cotton if you were wondering, and she says, "Jimmy," in that voice, "Jimmy, did I leave my tiny gold shorts and my tiny gold top in your hotel room last night?" This causes the distraction, allowing the Bar to pick up the win. So as I say, I didn't mind this. Sure, the Mandy, Naomi, Jimmy storyline is cheap, it's played out, we've seen it before, but also it is in fitting with Mandy Rose's character, and that's a character that she plays very well indeed. So a really fun match, lots of near falls, and sure, we've seen a lot of it before, but that doesn't make it not fun. This one gets a B+, it was a decent length, and it felt competitive. After the match, out comes The Miz, who offers the Bar the opportunity of a lifetime, and that opportunity is to put their SmackDown tag titles on the line against the best team in the world. That's The Miz and Shane McMahon, if you weren't keeping up. At the Royal Rumble, The Miz is laid out with the Brogue Kick, but the Bar accept. Exciting stuff. This is likely the team that the Bar are going to drop those tag titles to, which will finally give us what we've wanted to see since his return in February of 2016. Shane McMahon with the gold around his waist. Well, silver, but piss off. Main event time, and it's the qualifying match to see who will face Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title at the Royal Rumble. Triple threat action, Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch versus Carmella. Another brilliant match here, all three women giving it their everything, each seeming so desperate to win, which is exactly how a match like this should be presented. It was a scramble from start to finish, and I enjoyed every single minute of it. We all know that Becky and Charlotte have unbelievable chemistry together, they're two fantastic wrestlers, but big props to Carmella, who really held her own in this match. I can't think of many wrestlers who have shown so much improvement in the ring in such a short amount of time. She's always been great on the mic, but she's come on leaps and bounds since her main roster call-up. There was a cool spot where Charlotte hits a moonsault on both women but is unable to get a 3 count from either of them. There was a cool spot where Becky hits a leg drop, breaking up the figure 8 just in time. It looked like Carmella was about to tap out. There was a cool spot where There were lots and lots of cool spots. You owe it to yourself to go and watch this one. This gets an A. So where does this leave us with regards to the rumoured WrestleMania 35 match, hopefully main event between Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch? Will Ronda Rousey interfere again? Will Becky Lynch beat Asuka? Will Becky Lynch lose to Asuka but then go on to win the Royal Rumble later in the night? Who knows? I don't know, and I really like that. This is really unpredictable stuff, and as far as the Women's Championship goes, this is the most that I've been invested in that title ever. It's that simple. SmackDown this week was fantastic, utterly brilliant from start to finish, and I'm going to give it an A. I've trying to think of a reason not to give this one my first ever A+. Because although I gave a few Bs for other segments during the show, when you have a main event of this quality, it elevates the entire program. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. This week's SmackDown gets an A. Sorry, Road Dogg. So close. Speaking of dogs, I've actually just adopted 2 puppies. Can we flash up a picture of those now? Oh, come on, give us an R. They're called Rolex and Timex. They're my watchdogs. So that's all from me. Thanks for watching, and you can follow me on Twitter here. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.